My Lord, oh my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask you for pardon of my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. You may know that story of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, who went on a camping trip. They pitched their tent next to a beautiful lake, and after dinner and a bottle of wine, they lay down for the night and went to sleep. Some hours later, Sherlock awoke and nudged his faithful friend. Watson, look up. Tell me, what do you see? Watson replied, Well, I see millions of stars. So, what does that tell you? Watson pondered for a minute and said, Well, astronomically, it tells me that there are millions of galaxies and potentially billions of planets. Horologically, I deduce that the time is approximately 3:15. Theologically, I can see that God is all-powerful and that we are small and insignificant. Meteorologically, I suspect that we will have a beautiful day tomorrow. And what does it tell you, Holmes? Watson, that tells me that someone has stolen our tent, you fool. Well, I just found out that this joke was voted the funniest joke ever in September 2002 in what was described as the biggest single experiment of all time. 500,000 members of the jury from all over the world voting for a total of 50,000 jokes. The funniest joke ever. Yeah, I'm thinking the same. It's quite disappointing. However, it can help us to meditate on the gospel that we read in Mass today. Your disciples ask you, Jesus, why do the scribes say that Elijah must come first? And you replied, Elijah will indeed come and restore all things. But I tell you that Elijah has already come, and they did not recognize him, but did to him whatever they pleased. It is always striking to think that after so many centuries of warning, the people of Israel would miss the arrival of the Messiah. Has it ever happened to you that your mom asked you for something like, bring me a plastic bag with the shopping that I left by the entrance? And you go and then come back saying, there is no plastic bag by the entrance. And mom insists, of course there is. I left it a minute ago. A large plastic bag with the eggs and milk. So you go once more and come back annoyed, saying, there is no large plastic bag with eggs and milk by the entrance door. And then you hear that characteristic sigh that moms let out when they are tired of arguing. And she says, okay, come with me. So you go with her to the entrance. She opens the door, and there is a massive orange high-visibility plastic bag with hundreds of eggs and dozens of bricks of milk that you missed. I'm feeling like a mindless moron. Your pride hurt. You say, you mean that plastic bag? Oh, why didn't you tell me that it was orange and massive? Well, sometimes, like Dr. Watson, we're just focusing our attention on trivial things and miss the bigger picture. You see, the people of Israel received all sorts of prophecies about the coming of the Messiah. They studied them. To be fair, that's all they could study because the Bible was the only set of books they had. So I guess going to school at that time could be even more boring than it is nowadays. We have history, okay? Pick the Bible, historical books. Or we have Hebrew grammar, okay? Let's use the Bible. Dictation, okay? Choose a text from the Bible. Now we have music now. Oh, great. Well, let's sing some psalms of the Bible. Or we have Greek as a foreign language. Huh? Okay, no problem. Pick the Greek translation of the Bible. Even maths. Okay, let's see. We have math, so open the book of Numbers. You see, there's basically one collection of books, and the Jews were using the same texts all the time. They knew most of them by heart. They have all read the prophecies. They knew that you, Jesus, were from the family of David. They knew your birth was going to happen in Bethlehem. They knew Elijah was coming first. They knew you would perform miracles and heal paralytics and the blind, the deaf. They knew you could even resurrect the dead. They knew you were going to be crowned a king. But like Dr. Watson, they never managed to put two and two together. They were expecting something else, like me when I couldn't see an orange plastic bag that was under my nose. Whatever they were expecting, it just didn't match with God's plans. Actually, in fairness to them, some of the clues were a bit misleading. You, Jesus, were not going to be born in a palace, but in a stable. And John the Baptist didn't say that he was Elijah. And your coronation happened during your passion, which doesn't look like a ceremonial coronation. But John the Baptist spent his life pointing at you, Jesus. As the saying goes, the fool looks at a finger that points at the sky. Or even better, with the words of Bruce Lee,
it is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.
Well, these people, they just missed all the heavenly glory. The scribes and Pharisees didn't even look at John, the finger. They didn't recognize Elijah in John. As Watson missed the high-sted tent, as I missed the humongous orange high-visibility plastic bag, people had their own expectations. They were looking for something or someone else and missed the whole point. And when I pray, it can happen to me that I'm trying to fit my plans into God's plans, trying to negotiate my ideas, my expectations with Him, without realizing that He has greater plans for me. God has greater expectations. And I would miss the whole point if I focused, like Watson, on my thing, my plan, my concern, my intention, my feelings, my expectations. Well, Advent is a time to broaden our horizons. Israel was expecting a mighty king, a descendant of David, so they missed a mighty God. I read this quote from Edward Hayes in his Pilgrim's Almanac. And quote, "The supreme trick of all scratch is to have us so busy decorating, preparing food, practicing music, and cleaning in preparation for the feast of Christmas that we actually miss the coming of Christ." It's true. What a pity if during this Christmas I were to focus my attention on the trivial things and miss the blessing of your real presence, Jesus. What a pity if during this time I were to be concerned about parties and presents and dinners and decoration and cakes and family gatherings, and I were to miss your birth, just as it happened 2,000 years ago. What a pity if, like the Jews who didn't recognize John the Baptist in their midst, I were to miss your presence among us. What a shame if, like the people of Bethlehem on that day 2,000 years ago, I were to miss the most important event of my life. They could have received you, Jesus, into their homes if they had opened them to Mary and Joseph. But they left you out because they were expecting a different Messiah. Just as I can receive you distractedly in Holy Communion and maybe leave you out altogether because I was planning to do something else with my time or I was expecting someone else. What a pity if I were to leave you out, not being able to learn the lesson from the gospel today. What a shame, Jesus, if I were not to open the door to your mother, Mary, my Mother Immaculate, to invite you, Jesus, inside. Mary, Mother of God, pregnant with the Son of God, may I never miss the important things. I give you thanks, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask you for help to put them into effect. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.